Welcome to my channel. Have you ever wondered who among the greatest wizards of the wizarding world possessed the most remarkable magical abilities? In today's video, you will learn why Severus Snape was stronger than both Voldemort and Dumbledore in certain areas of magic. Severus Snape is one of the most memorable, controversial, and tragic characters in the entire Harry Potter saga. For most of the series, he was seen as an antagonist, if not the main villain, then certainly an unpleasant figure. But in the end, the truth about his past changed everything. What once seemed like cruelty and vengeance turned out to be love and devotion. What appeared as coldness and disdain was, in fact, a deep sense of duty and sacrifice. Some even called Snape a coward, but few characters demonstrated more bravery than he did. Deceiving the most dangerous dark wizard of all time for years, how many could have done that? Yet, despite all of this, Snape's incredible magical abilities are often overlooked, and that's a mistake. He was not just a skilled wizard, he was a genius in multiple fields of magic. Let's dive into what made Severus Snape one of the greatest wizards of his time. Severus Snape was born into a troubled family. His mother was a witch, his father a muggle, and their home life was filled with tension. From a young age, Snape was reserved and introverted, struggling with insecurities and poverty. But he was also brilliant. Even before attending Hogwarts, he formed a close bond with Lily Evans, the future mother of Harry Potter. Their friendship, however, was tested when they were sorted into different houses, Snape into Slytherin and Lily into Gryffindor. Despite his love for Lily, Snape gravitated toward a group of Slytherins who later became Death Eaters. He never truly fit in, yet he remained loyal to Voldemort until the Dark Lord made one fatal mistake. When Voldemort killed Lily, Snape was devastated. In her memory, he secretly allied with Dumbledore, dedicating his life to protecting Harry, even if it meant acting as a double agent for both sides. His final moments were spent ensuring Harry had everything he needed to defeat Voldemort once and for all. But what truly set Snape apart was his mastery of magic. He was not just an exceptional wizard, he was a prodigy. As a student, he was already inventing his own spells, something no other Hogwarts student had ever done. His skill in potions was unmatched, surpassing even the most talented alchemists. He was a formidable duelist, a master of dark arts, and a true expert in magical defenses. Snape's knowledge of the dark arts was deeper than even Dumbledore's. The headmaster often sought his counsel on the subject, recognizing Snape's unparalleled expertise. But what made Snape even more impressive was his ability to counter dark magic. No one in Hogwarts history taught defense against the dark arts as effectively as he did. When it came to curses, Snape was in a league of his own. He was the only wizard capable of delaying Dumbledore's death after the headmaster was struck by a deadly curse from Voldemort's Horcrux. He was also the only one who could neutralize the powerful curse placed on Katie Bell. And then there was occlumency, the ability to shield one's mind from intrusion. Voldemort was a master of legilimency, the art of reading minds, but Snape outclassed even him in mental defenses. The Dark Lord, despite his immense power, never once saw through Snape's deception. For years, Snape stood before Voldemort, lied to his face, and never got caught. That alone makes him one of the most skilled wizards of all time. In the end, Snape surpassed Dumbledore in at least 2 fields of magic and outmatched Voldemort in 1. That alone secures his place as one of the greatest wizards in history. Snape's brilliance extended far beyond what most wizards ever realized. His ability to master various fields of magic was unmatched, and yet his talents were often overlooked because of his reserved and intimidating nature. He never sought glory, never boasted of his abilities, and never cared for recognition. That was precisely what made him so dangerous to those who underestimated him. Unlike Voldemort, who flaunted his power, and Dumbledore, who wielded his magic with wisdom and grandeur, Snape worked in the shadows. His knowledge was his weapon, and he wielded it with surgical precision. One of the most remarkable aspects of Snape's skill set was his ability to create new spells. While students at Hogwarts struggled to master the basic incantations taught in class, Snape was already forging his own. The infamous Sectum Sempra was one of his inventions, a spell so devastating that it rivaled some of the darkest curses ever created. Unlike unforgivable curses, which were widely known and feared, Sectum Sempra was unique. A hidden gem of destruction, a curse with no known counter other than Snape's own ability to heal it. That alone placed him in a category far above his peers. His expertise in potions was equally extraordinary. It wasn't just about following instructions in a book. Snape understood the very essence of alchemy, how ingredients interacted on a fundamental level. Even in his school years, he improved upon the standard recipes taught in class, creating more efficient, potent versions of various potions. The Half-Blood Prince's annotations weren't just random scribbles, they were the insights of a true master. The fact that even Hermione Granger, one of the most brilliant students of her generation, couldn't compete with Snape's knowledge of potion-making speaks volumes about his intelligence. But what truly set him apart was his strategic mind. Snape wasn't just a wizard with raw talent, he was a tactician. He played a long and dangerous game, balancing between two of the most powerful wizards of all time, deceiving both and never once betraying his own mission. It was one thing to be powerful in magic, but another to use that power with precision. Snape did not rely on brute force like Voldemort or charm and diplomacy like Dumbledore. He relied on intellect, careful planning, and absolute control over his emotions. His skill in occlumency was perhaps his greatest weapon. While Voldemort could invade minds with ease, Snape was an impenetrable fortress. It wasn't just about blocking an intruder, it was about creating a facade so convincing that even the Dark Lord himself was deceived. Snape didn't just hide his thoughts, he manipulated Voldemort into believing whatever he wanted. That level of deception required an iron will, absolute self-control, and an understanding of human nature far beyond ordinary means. What made this even more remarkable was that Snape wasn't just hiding minor secrets. He was living a double life, constantly under scrutiny, constantly being tested, and yet never once slipping up. To maintain such an elaborate charade in the presence of the most skilled legilimens of all time was nothing short of miraculous. Even when Voldemort suspected betrayal among his ranks, Snape remained untouched. The Dark Lord's downfall was ultimately aided by the very man he believed to be one of his most loyal followers. Snape's power wasn't about raw strength, it was about mastery, control, and precision. He didn't cast spells recklessly or overpower his enemies with sheer force. He outmaneuvered them. He understood magic on a deeper level than most. While others memorized spells, he studied their very foundations. He knew how to manipulate magic in ways that others couldn't even comprehend. This is why, despite never being labeled as one of the most powerful wizards, Snape was undoubtedly one of the most formidable. Even in battle, his approach was different. Unlike Voldemort, who used fear and overwhelming force, or Dumbledore, who sought to subdue rather than destroy, Snape was methodical. He fought with efficiency, never wasting energy, always predicting his opponent's next move. His dueling skills were extraordinary, but what made him even more dangerous was his unpredictability. He had a vast arsenal of spells, some of which were his own creation, making him nearly impossible to counter. Despite all of this, Snape remained an enigma. He never sought recognition, never allowed himself to bask in admiration. He worked silently, sacrificing everything, and never once demanded gratitude. His story is one of the greatest tragedies in the wizarding world, not because he was unappreciated, but because he was never truly understood. Even those who knew the truth about his allegiance never fully grasped the depth of his sacrifices. In the end, Snape was not just a powerful wizard. He was a man who carried the weight of impossible burdens and still remained unbreakable. He was a master of magic, a tactician of unparalleled skill, and a guardian in the shadows. He was stronger than Voldemort in deception, stronger than Dumbledore in understanding the dark arts, and stronger than most wizards in resilience. History may not always remember Severus Snape as one of the greatest wizards of all time, but those who truly understand his story know the truth. He was not just a man of immense power. He was a legend, hidden in